What's up, guys? CJ from Team Millennium Ninja back this time to cover this week's doubleheader of Lupin goodness, and the episode this week starts off with a bang as the owner of a security corporation called Wangtik challenges Lupin to try and best her new system, one designed specifically to stop Lupin himself. And I'm going to start this off by saying I really enjoyed this episode. It was definitely my favorite of the one-offs so far, and it was pretty appropriately a Lupin episode, which I thought was great considering the last couple episodes focused on Jigen and Goemon respectively, so it felt only natural having one that focuses more on Lupin come up next. Hopefully next time we get some one-offs we'll get a Fujiko episode, since the other episode that dropped today brought us back to the main plot of things. But talking about this episode, it was done really well, and season 2 has just been non-stop hit after hit, so I haven't even minded these one-off episodes like I did back in season 1, even though I do think that the main plot here is more engaging. But this episode especially was one of my favorites, as I always love these challenge episodes in Lupin where he's challenged to best his security system or a supercomputer or something like that, because even though you know from the outset that Lupin's going to succeed, it's always fun to see how he does it. And this episode had it all, even expanding on Lupin's character a little bit as well. And I really enjoyed when he talks to Goemon about why he wants to do the heist, and Goemon says that he should know better than to try and attempt it alone, but Lupin responds that he has it backward because he doesn't want to do heist with a certain outcome. He prefers the danger and unsure nature of the heist. And I really like this scene. It just encapsulates Lupin's character and really the series as a whole perfectly, because we know that is Lupin. He doesn't want to do boring, easy heists. He's in it for the challenge, for the show, for the flair, which isn't something that everyone who writes Lupin really gets. Now, something that this episode did that really threw me for a loop was the reveal that Miss Wang was in love with Lupin the whole time, and the sole reason for her developing this system was for her to beat him in this challenge and make him hers, which is something that I did not see coming, and a direction I don't think one of these episodes has ever been taken. So I really enjoyed that twist, as well as her fangirling over Lupin after Zenigata says that she doesn't know him at all. But the majority of this episode focuses on the crew trying to prepare for the heist, and to do so they even built an obstacle course to practice trying to shut down the power at the same time. And it was cool to see how they prepared for the job, as well as their discourse when they kept failing. I also like that the Wangtik van that kept passing by and playing the jingle ended up being the way that they coordinated in the end, as well as Lupin's plan for foiling the recognition software by having the people in the crowd dress up as them and participate. It was very similar to the episode in part 1 with Ganimard III. I also really appreciated that the crowd was dressed up in a bunch of the crew's old outfits, like the Lupins wearing different colored jackets, and I even think I saw some of Fujiko's old outfits in there, as well as part 3 Jigen. It was a really cool way to integrate callbacks into the episode, as well as working in the ending theme from part 2 into the background again when Lupin talks to Wang after he steals the coin, which is a bittersweet moment for her, as when she turns around Lupin is gone. And everything wraps up with Zenigata chasing the crew at the end, and this was a great episode. I was a little worried at first when I saw the trailer last week that this one might just be kind of normal stock standard kind of Lupin stuff, but I was really impressed with the way they integrated the twists into this one, and it far exceeded my expectations. But now it's back into the main plot as we get into the next episode, Fakes Attract Lies, part 1. And what a roller coaster of an episode this one was. So it starts off with Lupin checking back in with Matea at the flower shop, and they have a nice little conversation, but something about this episode makes me think that Matea isn't what she seems, and we'll get into that a little bit. Now, I might be reaching a little bit, but the first clue I'm basing this off of is the newspaper that she has on the counter, with it on the same article that draws Lupin's attention after he talks with Jigen and Goemon, which is a great character-rich conversation with Jigen and Lupin ribbing each other a little bit, and Goemon's excellent proverb. But this article causes Lupin to go to Kotornica to meet with a councilwoman who seems to know Tomoe. And who does he happen to run into there but Matea, near where he's watching the councilwoman. And throughout the episode, Lupin and Matea have some cute little interactions. I especially like the one where he's trying to play off why he was at Councilwoman Hazel's house. Speaking of which, her and Lupin's first meeting is very interesting, with Lupin waiting for her at her apartment when she walks in, with her giving little to no reaction to it and pulling a gun out of the fridge. But then they have a chat where she reveals what she knows about Tomoe. I also really like the line Hazel said about how it would be nice to have Lupin owe her a favor, something that I thought might come back later on down the line, but as we know from the ending is not the case. Now, as Lupin goes to leave, he's hit with a flash drive that flies through the window that has on it a deepfake of the councilwoman being at an execution, something that I thought was pretty awesome, having a deepfake be in the plot of Lupin. And as Lupin runs out to see who sent it, he's photographed by a guy that we see taking pictures throughout the episode, something that makes its way into the headlines the next day, only causing more problems for the councilwoman. Now enters Zenigata with Yada Zenyatta and Ariana, who question Hazel about the previous night's events, which she lies about, and Zenyatta can see through it as it's telegraphed by her looking down as she answers the questions, causing Zenyatta to send Yada and Ari off on their own to chase leads on their own theory while he keeps an eye on the councilwoman. And this episode does a lot to characterize Yada and Ari. I was scared when they introduced Ari that she was just going to be a female clone of Yada, one that does nothing as well. But as it turns out, her being included gives Yada someone more on his level to bounce off of, which is good, as well as some romantic tension. I'm really interested to see where they go from here, especially moving forward, as at the end of this episode, Lupin takes down the people that were trying to take down Hazel, who ended up being headed by her advisor, after which Hazel asked Lupin to leave and never come back, but not before dropping a hint that he might actually be Tomoe's biological child. And with that, Lupin leaves and Hazel is left alone, but something ominous happens. Her window is open, and the next we see of her, Zenyatta busts in, only to find that she's been killed. And that's when Zenyatta is tackled to the ground and arrested by police for her murder, and that's where this episode ends, to be continued next time. Holy shit, what an ending. Oh, this wait is gonna suck. I don't want to wait 2 weeks to see what happens, but at least for you guys, you can check out the other videos on the channel until then, and make sure you're subscribed for more. This has been CJ from Team Millennium Ninja, headed back to the village, hidden in the internet.